Welcome GibbsCAM users. Today we're going to focus on 2026 version, which was released in September, and not in any particular order, but this one is one that I think a lot of people wanted for quite a while. The ability to deburr solids instead of using geometry. And although it works somewhat as intended, it still, in my opinion, needs some refinement. So let's go through this. Let's first load up our tools, which I have right here. You can see this is just a standard 5/8 drill, 1/2" rough end mill, 3/8 finish end mill, 1/2" chamfer tool, and we have a ball end mill there. So let's bring in some processes first to rough this out. And here I have my processes already. We'll go through those in a second. If I go to OpSim, this is the stock we're working with already. I already created this under the work groups under my stock here. So that's why it looks like that. So what we want to do first is rough everything out. Now you can't add the new chamfer deburr process to a number of other processes here, as it will fail. It won't do that, so it has to be done separately. But let's go through these first. So here I have my 5/8 drill, and I'm going to go down, of course, 1/2" here, my RPM and everything, but I'm going to click on the pre-mill button, click on entry, and I want my Z to be 10/1000ths off the floor there so I don't gouge the floor. That's the first process. The second one with tool number 2 is the rough end mill. Of course, going to go down 1/2" there. Just going to click on auto plunge because with the pre-mill on the first one, it's going to go down in that hole first. I'm leaving 10/1000 stock on the pocket, 5/1000 on the floor, and everything else is standard there, default. And the last process here with the 3/8 end mill, going to go down, wrap it down a little bit closer to the bottom, and go our 1/2" depth there, and entry and exit there, and no stock anywhere on there. So let's just click the whole part. Actually, we want to, one thing I forgot to show you here, something new that was in 2024 is from selection. You can see you have a drop down automatic or from selection. I want to do from selection because I want to pick the order that I want to machine this. And of course, from selection as well on the finish. So I'm going to turn face selection on. Just click in space. I want to start over here. So click just the bottom there, hold the control down, and I'm going to go in the order I want to machine these. And that one last of all, and click on do it. Now we have our toolpath here, so let's do OpSim to see where we left off here. So you can see, let's slow it down just a bit here. You can see it's drilling in the order that I selected, which works really well. And then we're roughing this out the way I selected as well. We'll speed it up. Then we're going to come back with a 3/8 end mill after we rough, and of course finish the floor and the walls. So we're done there. Now let's clear everything out here. Let's bring in our process for our deburring. So load our tool up, tool 4. Let's open this up, turn off our rendering, and we'll choose an empty tile to get rid of everything. All right, the drop down, the Deburr chamfer is on the drop down menu. Deburr chamfer. Of course, put in your RPM as you normally would, your entry and exit, all this kind of stuff. You have your minimum and maximum on the walls, and constraint there. Pretty much you can leave default there, especially for straight side pockets there. And the tip of the tool, how deep do you want to go before you deburr it? Now that course, depends on the tool you're using. I'm using a 1/2 inch there. And if it's 45 degrees, 90 degrees total there, you basically only have a 1/4 inch to mess with here before you start cutting on the straight side up there. So I'm going to say the tip can only go down 200 thou on there. Now you can do by the depth or do it by the edge depth. I'm just going to choose edge depth. I'm going to say cut 30 thou into there, tool contact there, and you can see these will change as you type in here. It'll tell you the tool contact as well, and the total depth. And I have from selection, even though this is a little funky, it's not working like I think it should work, but we'll dive into that a little bit here. So one way to do it is you can select the face there pretty fast, and you can click on Do It, and you'll have your tool path. Now let's render it, and I'll show you where I think it could use improvement. So let's rewind it. We'll let it go through everything. Okay, so now we're done roughing and finishing. Now we want to deburr. Let's click on play. So the only thing, when you click on a face, it does not do a selection. It doesn't remember what you did previously. It's pretty much random. You can see it kind of jumps all over. It gets the job done, but not in a particular order that maybe a lot of machinists would like to do. So I think that could use some improvement. Now there is another way you can do it with a little bit better success. We will go open this up again, and same thing is there, but instead of from selection, we're going to choose nearest next. And we'll select, of course, the face again, and select redo. This does a little bit better job, but still it chooses how it wants to do it, not necessarily how you would like to deburr it. So it jumps around a little bit. It's a little bit better, but still it's somewhat random. Now another way you can do this, but you're not working directly off a solid anymore, is to do geometry and pick the edges, which means, let me delete this, which means I need to select the face. We'll just right click and extract the edges. But now we're working with geometry there. So it kind of defeats the purpose of deburring off of a solid if you want to choose how it cuts your pockets or deburrs them. So let's open this back up here. And I'm going to just go back to regular offset contour there. So everything there is correct. Oh, let's do a minus, just like we always did before. Everything there is good, but now let's select offset and choose offset cut inside. So now we can choose the order that we want it to cut. Close this, so I'll choose the first one here. And you get the 3 circles, of course, but then when you select the next one, it goes away. So then you can choose the order in which you want to deburr. Now, if you make a mistake, like clicking on the face, still hold the control key down, just click it back off, and then select the edges again. And this one. There we go. And we'll click on Do It. Now we'll run the rendering again. Speed it up until we get to that point. Slow it down. Now you can see it's going to deburr in the order that we selected. There you go. So the deburring works good. You just you can't choose a selection on how you want it to do, so that's where I think the improvement comes in. But another way to do this, which actually works really well, and let's clear everything out, and then I'll show you this. So if you do have the 5-axis module, you can use the deburring in there, which actually works really well. Let's hide our geometry there. Same tool, tool number 4. So in the 5-axis module, I just have general here and your RPM and everything in your plane. Surface paths, I have deburring. And part surfaces here, I'm just going to select, actually I can select the whole thing, but we'll just select the face there. And exclude curves. Everything there looks pretty good. Depth, we'll just say 30 thou there. 1 cut. And tool axis control, 3-axis, so you don't have to have a 5-axis machine in order to use the 5-axis module. We'll just use 3-axis there. Give it your clearances there for everything you'd like. Oh, that's on the link there, sorry. Your rapid distance, your feed in, all this kind of stuff there. So once you have that, you can click on do it. Sorry, on this one, you just select the whole solid, sorry. And there we have our deburr there. So let's render again. Go up till the end. Slow down. And the 5-axis module actually does a pretty good job of selection all by itself. I didn't select the order I want to do them in. It's kind of figuring out what it wants to do. So eventually you got to cut the outside if that's what you want to do. And so just about any time you want to do that would be okay. But you can see it's sorting these in a really good order. And there you have it, using the 5-axis module and 3-axis. Works really good and sorts really well. Now, if all you're concerned with is deburring, say with a lollipop, just to deburr the sharp edges, you can do that as well. So just bring up your contour, of course, along with the tool, and choose Deburr Chamfer. It changes a little bit there when you pull a ball end mill in, but find internal edges, find back edges, that appears as well. Everything there is about the same as when I use the chamfer tool there, depth, tool contact, etc. Now with this one, you can click on the whole solid or the face. I'll just select the face there and we'll click on do it. I'll have a tool path. Then if I render, it does a good job of deburring, but of course it kind of chooses its selection there, how it wants to cut. You can't really tell it the selection you want to do. But it does get the job done. And there you have it. And of course that used nearest next. So if you can sort in horizontal or vertical, but from selection, you can't really select separate pockets and have it do it in the order that you would like, and maybe that's where it could use a little bit of enhancement on there. But all in all, this works really well. So thank you for watching.